Good morning. Well, the man at the Met Office promised me it wasn't going to rain today, but I don't know whether I believe him. We've had a lot of rain overnight. It's very kind of gloomy, the sky, and it feels like rain. But I'm going to trust him. The man at the Met Office is always right. And I'm going to crack on with this little corner of this border. If you saw last week's video, you saw me take out, what was it? The peas. And I put in leeks and sprouts. And I was just waiting for these French beans to get finished, and I was going to take them out. So they're finished now. Sadly, that's the last of the French beans. I always plant too many. This year I didn't plant enough. It's typical. Anyway, that's them done. They're coming out, and I've got a tomato here that I believe self-seeded. Oh, it has got a little bit of fruit on it there. Well, I was going to just pull it out, but now I've seen that, I'm not so sure. I'll think about it while I pull these beans out. That might go, that might stay, and I'll put something else in this corner. Tomatoes coming out, I'm afraid. It's only got a couple of little tiny little fruit on. I doubt they'll ever come to anything. That gives me a nice little spot to push something else in. There you go, that didn't take long. And this rather motley little crew of small plants I've got here is what I've got the choice of to go into that border. I've only got sprouts and leeks in there, as I say. On this table I've got cabbages, broccoli, and I think I've got one sprout and some leeks. Don't know what to do. I think I might just keep it simple and keep sprouts and leeks in there. I've got all these cabbages that I want to get in the ground. January King they are. I just don't have a space for them, and really that gap I've got there is only big enough for one or two cabbages really. So I think I'll stick with the one sprout and the extra leeks. There you are, that's done. There's very little that's more satisfactory for a gardener than getting a border flipped over like that and replanted for the next crop. So this is my purple sprouting broccoli that I put in a while ago. I'm pretty happy to say I've already got some broccoli coming up here, which is nice, earlier than I thought I was going to get it. I've had netting across this up to now, like a fine mesh, but all my brassicas are getting just absolutely hammered by the slugs this year. Anyway, I decided I would pull this netting up because there was bits of wood propping it down, and I know the slugs like to hide in places like that, and I found, I mean, 6 or 8 of those hideous mega kind of beige slugs, those massive ones, 6 or 8 of them just in this patch alone. I killed one, but it was like killing a small dog, so in the end I chucked them way over in the field out the front there. Anyway, I do think that these have perked up since then, and I'm hoping all the brassicas that I've got around them will perk up as well. I don't know whether there was particular slugs but getting at all my brassicas, but I haven't been able to find any other ones. But it's always great when you knock back them horrible pests, isn't it? This is the strawberry bed, and the strawberries have been finished a while now, a good while. Oh, sad, don't last long enough. I know I should get successional strawberries that ripen at different times if I could get organised. Anyway, I really want to give this bed a good overhaul this year. It's too packed out with them, they're too close together. It kind of went a bit wild last year and I never managed to get it under control. At the minute though, what I want to concentrate on is these things. These are the runners that the strawberries throw off. It's their way of reproducing their plant. There's a good example there. They send off a runner, that's another little plant there, and if that finds some ground to sit on, it will throw down roots and you'll get another strawberry plant, which is fantastic if you're wanting to grow some more strawberry plants. And that's how you can do it if you've only got a few strawberries and you want some more. And then you just leave that sitting in a bit of soil. You can push it into a little pot if you want. And once there's some roots being established there, you can just cut off that tendril. However, at the minute, what it's doing is taking all the energy from these plants and pushing it into reproduction, which at the minute I'm not interested in. Next year I'm going to do this. But this year I'm just going to take off these tendrils. Plus, if you let them get away, everything becomes very matted in the bed with all these tendrils intercrossing and all these new little plants, and things can get away from you, as I know from experience. See, there's one. Look at that. That's gone down into the actual border and it's rooted. I mean, it's a shame to pull it out, but this is what we've got to do. So they say that you should only leave your strawberries in for 3 years and then you should renew your plants. Well, my ones on the edge, I'm kind of losing track. I think they might be onto their 3rd year. These ones in the middle, I grew from all the tendrils the next year from these. So these are only in their 2nd year, so they've got 1 more year to go. I am debating whether to stick with that advice, because I know I've heard other people say it's not necessary really to take them up after 3 years, but after a period of time, the volume of strawberries that you get as a crop is going to go down. I'm going to give them a really good feed this year. This raised bed has sunk right down over the past couple of years, and I don't think I fed it enough last year, and my strawberries this year were all quite small. I was a bit disappointed about that. So I'm going to really top this up with some really good compost in the autumn, in the winter, and see how we'll get on. These are the Kalettes, and I was wondering last week where on earth you actually get the crop from. I hadn't been able to find any of these little roughly sprout things that you were supposed to pick from the Kalettes. However, I was being impatient and I'll show you where they are now. This is the stalk of the Kalettes. I have been picking the leaves off for the hens, so I hope I haven't done any damage, but this little thing here is these little sprout-like things that grow, and they're all starting to come. See on this stalk, all these nodules. That is the start of them. cabbage for the tea. It's got a beautiful head on it, that. The hens get all these leaves. I love cabbage. It is another day. I've been waiting all morning for the rain to stop. It wasn't forecast to go on as long as it did. Anyway, it's a beautiful sunny day now, and I need to take drastic action with the tomatoes, I have decided. It's coming up towards the end of August now. The season is getting shorter and shorter. Well, what I mean is it's going to be ended soon, and these tomatoes haven't got much time left now to get a bit fatter and to ripen. So I'm going to try and force them to do that. For right or for wrong, better or for worse, I think I'm doing the right thing, but I don't know. I'll show you what my plan is. So if we take a little look at this plant here, got lots of tomatoes on here. You know, they've got a way to go yet, but they're not bad. So what I want to do is force these to maturity. I want the plant to think that that's it and it can put all its energy into these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off any flowers like that. There's a big bunch of flowers there. You know, they are never ever going to fruit now. They're never, I mean, there's like a tiny little tomato on there. Don't know if you can see that. That's never going to come to maturity now. So I'm going to take off all the flowers and I'm going to take out the main growing stems, just to stop this plant dead from doing everything else other than getting these fruits to maturity. With a bit of luck, I'll get some tomatoes. It's certainly not going to be the crop I got last year, but I think that stands true for just about everything at the allotment this year. Everything I've been harvesting has been about half what I got last year, apart from the garlic. What else did I do well in? Oh, the courgettes are still firing away. I'm worried sick about it. I've got so many. Right, here we go. So there you go. That's the flowers coming off. And the main growing stem with some more flowers. That's coming off. Take that off there as well. A couple of little flowers and little teeny tomatoes. And anything else I can see that might want to come off. Side shoots. I took off all the leaves at the bottom of the plant a few weeks ago. Took off all the foliage up to the first truss of fruit. Actually, there's one there. I could probably take that off as well. The aim is basically to get your plant to put all its energy into producing the fruit. And then this one, I'm going to take that off right to there. We've got a nice bunch of fruit here. Yeah, that looks good to me. Right, I'm just going to carry on and do all of these now. This plant here, I'm a bit worried about the leaves. They're kind of all curling up like that. And, well, I'm not 100%. Well, there you go. Look at that. I think that looks like blight starting, doesn't it? So I might just take this one out completely. There are a few tomatoes on it, but I noticed this the other day and I went through and I took all the leaves off that had any brown on them. And there's another leaf there. I'm just going to take this one out completely because I just don't think it's worth it chancing all of your tomatoes. And that one will go in a bag, of course, and get taken away from the allotment. Don't put any plants with blight on them on the compost heap. But so far so good. That is the only one I've had that looks like it's got any blight. I'll be checking this one a bit more carefully though. This one's actually got no fruit on it either. I think I'll just take this out because if I can keep them nicely spaced out, the plants that are remaining, it's going to be better for them. There's less chance of moulds. This has got it as well. I see it now. So that's coming out. Right, that'll do it. I've ended up taking out 4 or 5 of them that have got the startings of blight. Not bad at all, but I thought I'll just take them out because as luck would have it, the ones that had the blight actually didn't have much fruit on them anyway. So I'd rather just cut my losses and take them out and see if I can get a bit of a crop from the rest. As you see, it looks like a scene of devastation. A little weed might help it look a bit tidier, wouldn't it? Full of weeds. Anyway, that's it for this week. Hope to catch you on the next one. Bye.